Words, including the words of apostles and cardinals, cease at some point being spoken and written. Even then, the Lord can still use our silent suffering if we allow him. This kind of witness is distinguished too. The distinctions of Cardinal Dulles' earthly life will not soon be forgotten, but they pale before the distinction of being with the Lord for all eternity. To quote St. Paul again, I consider the suffering of the present time as nothing compared with the glory to be revealed for us. I happily accept this memorial award in the name of Cardinal Dulles, and I will see that his Jesuit confreres at Fordham University receive it in due course. Kindly see my longer tribute to the Cardinal in the forthcoming edition of the Catholic Social Science Review. Thank you.
It's a joy for the Society of Catholic Social Scientists to join the NCC Center for Catholic Studies in honoring the great Cardinal Dulles in this manner today.
I would now like to introduce to you one of the great oaks of the Diocese of Rockville Center, Monsignor George P. Graham, President of the New York Metropolitan Chapter of the Society, who will say a few words about the substantial contributions of the recently deceased Monsignor Michael Wren of Dunwoody Seminary, whose achievements form the basis of his receiving the Ozanam Award from the Society. Monsignor Graham will receive a plaque in the name of Monsignor Wren from Steve Krason again, and then Monsignor Graham will likewise make sure that the plaque is delivered to the officials at Dunwoody Seminary. The distinguished Monsignor Graham.
The Society of Catholic Social Scientists has decided to give the Ozanam Award to the late Monsignor Michael J. Wren, the noted pastor, religious educator, and author. Monsignor Wren was 72 years old at his death. He was ordained in 1961 for the Archdiocese of New York. As a young priest, he was assigned to work in the Religious Education Office of the Archdiocese, and I remember meeting Michael Wren when we were both members of a state committee to prepare material for the American Catechetical Directory. That must have been back in the 70s. Monsignor Wren was assigned to establish the Archdiocesan Catechetical Institute in 1977 by Terence Cardinal Cook. The name was later changed to the present name, the Institute of Religious Studies. After 10 years at the Institute, Monsignor Wren was appointed pastor of the Church of St. John the Evangelist, the church which is now located within the Archdiocesan Chancery Building. In 2001, Monsignor Wren returned as dean to the Institute of Religious Studies, where he remained until his retirement in 2005. The great commitment of Monsignor Wren's priestly life was to teach the gospel and to teach catechetics. Good catechetics normally requires a good catechism. This was the subject of a vigorous debate at the First Vatican Council of 1869 and 70. After this debate, the fathers of the First Vatican Council, by a majority of 4/5 of the fathers present and voting, approved the project of a church-wide catechism. However, because of the occupation of Rome by the Italian army, the council was interrupted and never resumed, and the schema for a catechism was never voted upon or approved. When the Second Vatican Council began in 1962, there were a number of suggestions that the First Vatican Council project of the Catechism be revived. Nothing came of these suggestions, however. After the Council, catechetics throughout the Church became a disaster area. This was the time in which catechisms were replaced by balloons and banners. In reaction to this failure of catechetics, the 1985 meeting of the Synod of Bishops requested a catechism for the Universal Church. In 1986, Pope John Paul II, in response to the request of the Synod of Bishops, appointed a commission of 12 cardinals and bishops presided over by Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger. Their task was to prepare a proposal for the catechism asked for by the fathers of the Synod. An additional commission of 7 diocesan bishops who were experts in theology and catechetics assisted the commission. The first edition of the text appeared in French on October 11, 1992. The job of translating it then was taken up by each conference of bishops. A first English translation was attempted, and it was not a good translation. As Monsignor Wren wrote at the time, if this translation had been successfully foisted on the English-speaking world as the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the form in which we have studied it and which it went to the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith for approval, we believe it would actually have brought discredit upon the whole catechism enterprise, to the detriment of the faith and of the Church. As a result of the work of Monsignor Wren and Kenneth Whitehead, his close friend, in their book Flawed Expectations, which came out in 1990, the earlier translation into English was rejected, and a new translation was made, which was published in 1994. The Latin edition, which became the official text, was published in 1997, and the second edition of the English translation, in conformity with the official Latin text, was also published in 1997. After 12 years as pastor of St. John the Evangelist Parish, Monsignor Wren returned as dean to the Institute of Religious Studies. Monsignor Wren had long been interested in the French language, and he became very fluent in French, both orally and in his written work. He translated at least 13 books on theology from the French. Because of his fluency in speaking French, Monsignor Wren was able to visit some of the great theologians in France, and this led to the publication in English of some of their books, some by other translators, publications which Monsignor Wren had arranged. In 1998, Monsignor Wren received the Cardinal Wright Award from the Fellowship of Catholic Scholars at their convention in Denver. The great work of Monsignor Wren's life was his establishment and guidance of the Institute of Religious Studies at St. Joseph's Seminary in Dunwoody. From this institute, there have been more than 580 graduates. In addition, some of the students have entered seminaries to become priests. And so the Society of Catholic Social Scientists is proud to grant posthumously the Ozamam Award to Monsignor Michael Wren, and Professor Krason will give it to me, and I'll make sure that it gets up there to the Institute. Thank you, Steve.
Monsignor Wren served as a member of the Society of Catholic Social Scientists Board of Advisors for many years, and once again, it's a great joy that we can honor him in this manner.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Monsignor. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now a great honor to bring to the podium Professor Michael Novak, the George Frederick Jewett Chair in Religion, Philosophy, and Public Policy at the American Enterprise Institute, who has kindly consented to say a few words about his dear, dear friend, the Catholic priest and intellectual and editor-in-chief and founder of First Things magazine, the recently deceased Father Richard Newhouse. Again, Father Newhouse will be honored again on May 30th with Father Canavan and Monsignor William Smith, but I couldn't turn down the opportunity to ask such a distinguished man and such a close friend to say a few words about Father Newhouse.